What's up, y'all? This is Jeffrey at Jeffery TV coming to you live on Memorex in transit from a remote location 70 miles east of Los Angeles, headed towards Chumash Casino to attend the George Clinton and Parliament Funkadelic concert tonight. Saw the band last night. They also played at Casino, one of the first famous ones out here, Morongo. Seats, I mean like banquet room seats. Stage, one thing though, the stage was low. The stage was like 3 feet, and you were able to like walk right up to it if you were in the front row. But the security, you couldn't just like walk up there and hang and stand there. My ticket was front row, far left or far right, whichever way you're facing. I mean, way far left. I mean, I was walking around before the show saying it's a travesty. It's a travesty for me to be sitting way over there. I almost didn't think I was going to be able to do it. I mean, I didn't think how I would fare under those conditions. Being so far right that I was even farther right than the backup singers, way farther right than past Trey Luke. It was like way right. But in my infinite experience in doing these things, I was able to scope out the fact that the whole front 2 rows center were empty. The whole front row and the row behind it was empty. This was early before the show kind of started. Then after the show started, the whole front row was empty. Literally, the whole front row center section was empty. There was no seat, nobody sitting there. So I sat there. And I'm sitting there. Like I said, I'm talking about this 3-foot high stage. The band is right there. I mean, it's like right there. And I'm like, why is it that how am I always being front row? How does it work out that I'm always like front row center? I mean, so much of it is buying tickets early enough and getting the right seat and getting that. But I was somewhere, I think it was Vegas, and the people around me did a seat swap, and I ended up front row center. They said I was on the edge, and they were like, hey, we all want to sit together, so can you move down to this seat and we all sit together? I was like, yeah. So I ended up front row center there. And tonight and last night, I'm literally front row center, sitting there by myself. I had a whole row. It was a whole empty row, and I'm the only one sitting there. Everybody else was like kind of staying in their seats. So Rod came up. He obviously, he been in the game, so he knew to come up and sit there. Another boy from San Diego, he was like in row 5 or 6 or something, but he came up and he was sitting second row. And so I'm sitting there watching the show, all spread out, sprawled out, leaning back, legs all open, and just had all kinds of room and just sitting right there. I was like, damn. And then some people came, and I knew, I said, for all these seats to be empty, a whole bunch of people going to come. And they did. It was like about 13, 14, 15, maybe 20 people came. Took up the whole front row. So I went back to where my seat was. And then I saw that one seat was empty. There was 2 seats still empty. And the one seat that was still empty was like, there was an empty seat, and then there was that seat. And that seat was front row dead center. So that's where I ended up watching the show. I sat there watching the show, front row dead center. Again. And they're right there in Mr. Clinton's face. And it was a casino, so everybody was sitting down and laid back. And I say it's a casino just like matter of factly, because it's to the point that these casino shows seem to have, the last few casino shows consistently, people are more laid back and relaxed. A couple of, they're laid back and relaxed. And I was talking to some people who said that they were casino members, so they were able to get like, the prime seats because none of the front row seats were even available. Because I was there at 10 o'clock when we were supposed to buy tickets on Ticketmaster. None of those were available or being resold. So, I got there, and I'm sitting there watching the show, and then everybody was sitting down. So Mr. Clinton saw that everybody was sitting down, so he got up. He's like, "Get up, get up!" And here he come out off the stage. He came off the stage, getting everybody up, going out into the crowd, doing it. And once again, I'm sitting there saying, "Look at this dude! Look at this man, still giving it, after all these years. How grateful, proud, whatever I am to have associated with this band that is still kicking it and to have their leader still have so much fervor or entertainment value or whatever. Maybe he didn't even care, but just knows how to, put on a show, entertain. It could have been just instinct. But whatever it is, I'm glad that, we're still going after all these years, and it just amazes me. Again, he was like sitting right there when he came back. He did a little tour. Oh, did he come on my side of the stage? And I saw him coming down the aisle. I was like, oh God, I was Facebook Live. Another thing, I went Facebook Live for the whole goddamn show. What the hell is that about? I was Facebook Live for the whole show, because I'm tell you one thing about Facebook Live. Once you start, it's kind of hard to stop. And I knew that I was going to be able to, go home and download the file. And I knew that the audio quality may be challenged due to bandwidth usage and restrictions, but I also knew that the audio usually stays clean. The video gets choppy, but the audio usually stays clean. So the audio recording is really, what you want. Stuff came out, okay? So I'm recording live, and I see him coming. Here he comes. And he started doing his thing, and I was like, So I jumped out there, kind of gave him something, and let him go by. Played it off. And then he went around and did his thing, and he came back. I was like, all right, old man, you on my side of the stage now. You want some of this? And I admit, I got nervous. I got shook up. I was shook up a little bit. I was like, okay. What you gonna do with him now that you got him smack dab where you say you want to get him? And he was on my side of the stage, squared up. He squared up on me even. I was like, oh. So I started doing some kind of weird dance. And I'm gonna tell you why. And here's my reason why I started doing some kind of weird fan dance. Because they was doing it to pole power. And pole power has a certain kind of energy to it. Now, if it was getting it to up or the downstroke or funkadelic or something that, that I could, but it was the pole power. So it was like, so I had to kind of like dance like that. But, I did a little something. It was mostly a fan dance. I didn't try to put nothing on him. Standing right there, squared up. And I knew Mrs. Clinton was probably up right there with the live video shooting us. Head face to face. And he kind of did a little thing. I was like, oh, you gonna win. I can't get into it. But it was good. The show was okay. I think they were having monitor problems. I don't think they could hear themselves. Because the girls sounded good. The backup singers, they sounded good. But I don't think they could hear themselves in the monitor. And I think Mr. Clinton was saying, hey, put something in this monitor. But we could hear them. We can hear them okay. So it was good. There was just a lot going on. It wasn't the best show because of the energy and I think of the crowd. And I also think because of the acoustics. I was talking to Mr. Payne afterwards. He was talking about a show in New Orleans about how the 420 Mob was playing in a room that was like all walls, and I guess he was making some reference to acoustics. And I was thinking, I assumed, I'm rubbing my tongue on the new screws in my mouth. My mouth was bleeding all day yesterday. My mouth was bleeding all day yesterday. And then the clot stuff. I guess it was clot. It was like fleshy stuff would be in my mouth. It'd be like a big chunk of it all of a sudden. And I got to spit it out. One time I spit it out in the sink, looked at it, there's just blood everywhere. I picked it up, was pulling it apart. I was like, what is this? And where's it coming from? And it kept coming more and more and more. It wasn't like dead skin that, you pull off. It kept coming more and more. So I wonder if it was clotting or whatever. So what I did was I was at the show. I was like, hell, I gotta get some water. And it may be something to spit in the whole time. And spit this stuff out in. And I was like, well, let me get a napkin. So I got a napkin. I wrapped it up and I'm folding a ball and I put it on the the part that I thought was bleeding. You know, the kind of like gauze, basically. And I'm gonna tell the affordable dental people, I'm gonna say, hey, y'all sent me away, y'all forgot to gauze me up, and I bled for 3 hours until I figured it out. Then I put the gauze on it, and the gauze wouldn't let all that, I guess, clotting or whatever that, you know, fleshy stuff was come out and let it stick in that hole, and let it clot up in that hole and block it. And so I took it out a couple hours later, maybe an hour or so later. I took the tissue out, and it wasn't all bloody. It was just bloody on one little part, and I wasn't bleeding no more. So, you know, that was fun. So Mr. Bain was saying that he, you know, the acoustics of the room may or may not, I don't know, this is why I took it. The acoustics of the room may or may not determine what he was going to play. You know, that's, and because I always think that when people don't play certain venues, they can be too big or too boomy, or the room matters. Because like that House of Blues Anaheim, I love the House of Blues from P-Funk. I've always have. That way that room is built or whatever, I love the way the band sounds. Like, I think it's because they're kind of a little bit squeezed together, just enough, and you know, they're not too far spread out. Maybe they can hear each other better, or whatever, or maybe we hear them better, or whatever. But the room can be too nice. You know, it can be too spread out, too nice, too clean. But, and I think last night that was one of those. It was like a ballroom. So it was like cavernous. Anyway. So, you know, it was okay. And I think that affects the energy of the band. That and the fact that it was a casino crowd and a lot of them were just sitting down. So, you know, they doing that. You know, it was good. You know, it was a good show. I had a good time. And I swear, I was like, I'm tired. I don't want to do this show. I was like, I'm tired. I'm just going to be low. I'm just going to be low key. I'm going to sit in my chair. Because, you know, I just had surgery. I called off work because I was going to try to work a few hours, say that PTO, because I'm hearing rumors. About Europe. Okay, I started the rumors about Europe, P-Funk player in Europe, and I might need some PTO. Because they already booked for Japan. Japan is, you know, open knowledge. And it's funny too, because I was with the P-Funkies, you know, talking to them and stuff, and you know, I got like access. But there's certain things I can ask them, and I swear I don't want to know. I just don't. And sometimes I catch myself saying stuff that I really don't kind of want to know the answer to. I mean, I don't want to know the answer to, but it's not. There's some stuff I just want to figure out on my own, I guess, you know. And so I was at the P-Funkies, and instead of just asking them about Europe, I like to tease it. I was at the I think Shafee was his name, or whatever, at the merch table. I was like, oh yeah, that's what they did it, because they had no medium shirts. And I was like, hey, y'all got medium shirts? He said, I said, y'all got some tomorrow? He said, and I knew the answer was gonna be no. He was like, probably not. I was like, y'all got some in Europe? And he played it off to me. He went, I don't know about Europe. He was like, I don't know if Europe's confirmed or something. He wouldn't, you know. I was like, that was a trick question. You know, I could ask. I don't want to know. You know, talking to Mr. Hampton, Mr. Payne, and all that. You know, Mr. Oliver, Mr. Thomas. You know, some things I just don't want to know. Like, one of the big questions was, how come the band is so much better now? What happened? Mr. Boyer, Mr. Boyer. I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. But I asked Mr. Payne towards the end of the night. I was like, what happened? And I kind of don't want to know, you know. But he was telling me about 420 Funk Mob, you know, the record's coming out. And I talked to Mr. Bajosian too. Okay. Mr. Bajosian got a book coming out. He's been working on this for a few years. He got hundreds of hours of research. Mr. Clinton signed off on it. It's a book about all discography. It's supposed to be the most, I don't want to say the most complete P-Funk discography. I don't want to say nothing like that, but it looks like that's what it's going to be. You know, I don't want to say it, but that's probably what it's going to be. Because he worked with band members, and you know, a lot of them band members be remembering shit. They got some stories, and they be remembering stuff. I'm sure some of them get it wrong, but when you talk to them, that recall, and Mr. Clinton, you talk to Mr. Clinton, his recall is like, yeah, I remember 1954. We was in there, me and Sydney, you know, he just started going on, yeah, the Dozier building or something, like Detroit, he'll bring a record, yeah. So they you know, for crazy P-Funky cats, is supposed to be, all up on drugs and craziness. There's a retention and there's a sense of, not sensibility, there's like a knowledge. There's a knowledge base that's I find fascinating, and I think I'm a genius. And I'm not saying that these cats is genius or not, but they have some of the most interesting angles on things that all of them you just talk to them, it just comes out of their mouth. There's no, there's no fluff. There's minimal fluff. They'll just avoid it, or they'll let you know, what's up, or they're gonna let you know what's up either way. But they're gonna, just kind of avoid. But anyhow, I was talking to Mr. So now I said all that because Mr. George is gonna be, working with everybody in the band. He did interviews. He said it's supposed to have everybody, all the groups, all the spin-off groups, all of them. It's supposed to be in one discography. And I was like, well, if that's the case, I gotta buy it. It's like mandatory. If that's what this is, this isn't like a tribute piece or music or something to appreciate. This is like reference. It's like a mandatory purchase for me. You just gotta have something like that. So, I'll definitely get it. Got some coming out month. He said he got a publisher and this and that, and he's doing it, quote unquote. So, that'd be good. What else? Oh, and then so I'm sitting like front row again. I'm front row. Finally some people came, and when I get nervous even when my seat gets challenged and I'm in the wrong seat. I just be like, fuck it, I'm going back to my seat then. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going back to my seat. I just can't take it. I'd rather just be in my seat, far away in the corner, and not be bothered than have to be worried about being in somebody else's seat. So I went all the way back to my seat. Then I looked. I was like, ooh, the really good seat ain't taken. And there's a seat next to it. So I ended up going back up to that first seat in the front row. So I'm in the front row. Nice little 3-foot stage. Mr. Clinton right there. I'm like right there. I mean, like right there, And so they was doing up and a downstroke. He was up, and a downstroke. Everybody get up, Then it's that Lowe's part, I don't care. It's that Lowe's part, not Lowe's part, but the slow part, the change part, where this kind of groove vamp part. And he said, y'all sing. He said, sing, y'all sing. And I said, I'll sing Funky Cat. I grumped up and I started singing Funky Cat and UFO, and he picked up on it. He hadn't been doing that in a while. And I think I'm gonna tell the story. I started singing it. He said, y'all sing. And I was like, Funky Cat and UFO. And I looked over and I could have sworn that Anisha started singing it with me. And it's from this side. And then Mr. Clinton came in. I'm fucking got a UFO. And then, she started singing it with, I was like, oh, did I call that? But even if I didn't, of course if I did, I love to, pat myself on the back, but bang my chest. But it's more so that's one of my favorite parts of the show. So it was good to hear that song, regardless of how the quality, I don't want to say quality of the music or the energy of the night or the execution. It was always still good to hear, Funky UFO up against that, up and down show. And it was good. The rest of the show was good. No Cosmic Slop, no Maggot Brain. It was short, though. It was definitely short. We was done at 10:30. Probably started right about 9. Wait a minute. It probably started about 9:15. We was out of there at 10:30. It was over at 10:30. But it seemed like it was a fairly full show. Of course, we shook the gate. No surprises. It was what it was. There was no House of Blues Anaheim. There was no New Orleans. That was House of Blues New Orleans too, come to think about it. But, it was good. The band I'm in the zone. I'm not even in a zone. I'm done. I'm full. I'm wore out. I'm not wore out. Well, I am kind of wore out. I'm tired. Cause that's the whole reason, one of the reasons I cut this off is because I'm traveling, I'm going from my mother's house to Chumash, and I got to go right by the exit of my house. Literally, right by the exit of my house. And I'm tired. And I got to work tomorrow. and I'm full. I got all the funk I need. No, I can't say that, but you know what I mean. You can never have all the funk you need. Maybe at the moment. How about that? And I might be on funk overload. That's possible. No, I wouldn't say funk overload. You know what I mean? When you just, I'm happy, I'm content, I'm full. I got mine. It was, a hell of a summer last summer, going into this year, and just, consuming the music, getting my fulfillment. But this is my worship. This is why am I so hot? My body has a problem with controlling its temperature. Either I'm cold or I'm hot. Something's going on. I got some kind of deficiency, I'm sure. Why am I sitting in there hot? 61 degrees out. I got the thing except for 72. I got on a t-shirt, long sleeve t-shirt and a t-shirt, but hell. Anyway. Yeah, cause I'm it's full to where I'm content. I got mine. I'm there, and I was like, you know what? Okay. We're just going to play it out. We're gonna drive, and then when I get to my exit, I know that I have 2 more hours. And do I want to do that 2 more hours? So basically, when I get to my exit, that means I got 4.5 more hours. 2 hours there to get to the show, 2 hours back tonight, and work tomorrow at 4 p.m. If the show's over at 10:30, I might be home before midnight. The show might be over, but this one starts at 8. No, it starts at 9. I think doors at 8, show at 9. No, I think doors at 7, show at 8. So hell, I might be home. Yeah, and one thing that I say about the casino shows, the band sometimes hangs out at the bar and stuff. You can see them, talk to them, and it's fun being. Everybody knows them. Oh, people come up to them constantly. How you doing? Love you. This, that. You got your fan. Who I've seen y'all 20 years ago. I saw you in Denver. I saw you in Oakland. You are good. And you just sit there and you go through it. And I think about them, approaching Mr. Hampton or Mr. Payne or Mr. Thomas. Like maybe for the first time, at their first time actually talking to somebody for Parliament Funkadelic. And I think back my first time, I was flat out scared. I was just flat out, I didn't want it. I was scared. I didn't want it. I was scared. It was Mr. Payne. I was leaving the show in Vegas. I told this story so many times, I don't give a damn. I'm telling you, I was leaving this show in Vegas in Aladdin. In the 90s or something. And Mr. Payne was coming in when I was leaving. I was like, ain't you supposed to be? And he asked me for a loan so he could pay the cab, and I paid the cab, and he took me backstage to pay me back. And I'm standing there, and all the P-Funkies are standing right there. I was like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to talk to these. I don't want to be. It was too important. It was too important for that to have to get there and be in that awareness. It was like I wasn't prepared. And I come to the conclusion that it's because at that time, one of the principals could have said something that would have hurt my feelings. They could have said something that could have really hurt my feelings and shattered, I don't want to say a lot that I believe in or something like that. My whole people, because I wasn't back then. I didn't distinguish between the people, the players, the musicians. In fact, the musicians are one thing, the people are another, the music is another, the band is another, the P-Funk thing is another. They're all separate things. You can't put them all together. So you can have faith. Not faith, but you can have your conviction about the philosophy and the thing and the intent and all that. And you can feel a different way about the band, or you can feel a certain way about the players, or you can feel a different way about the music. It's not all inclusive. And back then, I didn't have it packed down to where. In fact, I didn't even know. I thought they were still super. These people were like superheroes, not superheroes, but stars. Like they didn't have to do their own shopping. Like, not that they had maids or nothing. Yeah, but I probably thought that, in the back of my mind, they probably have people who take care of them, and they don't got to do nothing. They ain't got to do shopping, you know. And I just thought they were like, they on the album cover, so aren't they like, stars? They don't have to do what we do. So I remember going back there. I didn't want to be back there. I was like, I didn't like it, because for years and years and years, I would go to the show. They see me in my jersey. I'd do my jersey and I'd leave. As soon as it's over, I'm gone, because it was about me and the music. It was about the music and the execution of said music. I used to write the reviews. It was always about the music. Because the music was so precious to me. The music was it was really precious back then. Because there was a time when I wasn't getting it at all. 85, 86, there was a time when it just wasn't there. And it came back in 89. Everybody keeps saying it was the Palladium, and I believe I was there. I believe I was there at the Palladium. I got a picture of it, because I know one time I was there at the Palladium, but Prince did a surprise show, and me and Tally ended up getting in there, paying $200 for a ticket for that night. We went up in there, and we got in, and Prince did a show, like a surprise show. And I'm pretty sure I can remember seeing Bootsy and Mr. Clinton. I got a picture of them. They were all there, and it was raggedy and loud and a mess. But it was. So speaking of that too, that raggedy, loud, and a mess. Of course, I'm over dramatizing, but there is something to that. The old Parliament Funkadelic playing sloppy, and not sloppy, but how unclean, whatever the word is. They would just jam. They just be jam going at it. But with the rhythm on the one, with all the groove to it. But it was just it wasn't so. Seemed like orchestrated or rehearsed, or whatever the word means. But now, like Oli was saying, the band is clean. Mr. Nero says it's just clean. The word he uses is clean. And you listen to it now, it's just sharp and it is clean. And of course, you miss some of it. You miss being human. You miss it. You go, oh, I miss. You can't please everybody all the time. You just can't. You can't please. You can't please you can't please. You probably can't please the same person on the same day twice with the same thing. So it's good. I mean, the band, it's just sharp, it's clean. Horns sound good. Guitars. Yeah. See, now that everything come up, everything got to keep going up. Now that we're coming up, the scrutiny is going to become a little bit sharper and tighter, which I don't want to do, because I'm there, I'm full, I'm good. Where's all this traffic? I need to put GPS on. I need to put the GPS on, and it's on the phone, and I can't do it while I'm recording. At least I don't think I can. I probably could. Anyway, should I just wrap this up and post it? So I'm on my way now. I'm like, ooh, look at them storm clouds over there. That look dark and ominous. Ooh. And this, I want to look, because this seems like an accident. This is like a slow down. This is like an accident. And I know a way to take the streets to get to where I need to get to. I used to come out here a lot before they finished the freeway. On Friday, the freeway would be a mess, so we used to take the streets and try all kinds of craziness. Yeah, I want to check GPS to see how long this delay is, but it's good. It was good. It's really good. So I'm on my way now. And why am I sweating? My body temperature regulator. I got to find out what regulates it. I think it's thyroid. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not cold outside. Maybe it just looked cold. But anyway, it's good. So, that's where we're at. And it was fun. And I'm sitting there again, front row, whole row to myself. I'm all sprawled out like I'm in my living room. I'm all sprawled out in my, like I'm 16 years old, in headphones, in my bedroom, all by myself. That's how I felt. That's where I'm at now. I go to the show. I can just let it go all over me. I just let it go all over me. I just feel as much as I can, as expression, whatever. I just it's, somebody might say I become the music, or it's vibing. I just become that in a way, in a loose way. Just be free and just totally responsive and reaction to the music and every little part, and just be, unfocused but focused, and just let it go. It's just like free, no apprehension, just free, front row, all to myself. They got to be tired of seeing me sitting there. They have got to be tired of seeing me sitting there every goddamn show. What the hell? I'm tired of being there front row. Because I wasn't supposed to be front row in this show. I wasn't supposed to be like that. Even though I knew, I got a little bit of tricks, and I got games, and I got experience, but I wasn't supposed to be that front row. Hell, wasn't nobody supposed to be that much front row. I had the whole damn row to myself. I'm like sitting there with my arms spread out, legs. It was good. It was good. It was good. It was good. It's just good. It's good. It's good. Yeah, my name is Jeffery. Oh, way too much. The way I feel right now, I ain't gonna be able to stop. I ain't gonna be able to not go. The way I feel right now, I ain't gonna be able to not go. Think I might stop and get some water. Take some Sudafed too, for my sinuses doing some stuff. But anyway, no more delay. Let's check out the new style eye display. Swinging on y'all 2 times for me, a better pound, and for every elementary particle in every atom in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all. A theory of universe. A hypothesis of all as one. Still thinking about all on the one. All as one on the one. I don't think I'm ready for the on. I don't think I need to vet on the one exactly what that may or may not mean. Anyway, I got to check traffic.